What do you make of it? You know, I mean, obviously, I know you've been in the States, so you've been consuming mostly City, you know, long distance on TV, but I know you've been to a few games too, just recently.
I have. Yeah, I think I've been to maybe 3 or 4 games so far, just since I've been back in the UK. So we're talking about it since the start of December. And I feel very lucky to have done that, and to be in the stadium and to be able to see them from an overhead view and really see what they're doing now. Like it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible, but for so many different reasons. I think with most teams, if they lose 2 players, for example, like the equivalent of a Kevin De Bruyne or Sergio Aguero, 2 players who are not just 2 of the best in the Premier League, but 2 of the best in the world, you'd expect them to struggle. But the identity of the team now is one whereby it's next man up to continue the style and the identity of like how they play and stuff. And to see it happen every single week. And instead of, say, maybe in the past you'd have criticisms about, you know, Pep changes it too much, he's rotating this too much, and so on and so forth. He's been very consistent with the way he's approached games. And at times he might slightly tweak something to take away another team's strength, like he did against Spurs yesterday. But it's like, it's insane. Like, was it 15 or 16 wins in a row? Like that's
16,
video.
I think it is now, yeah.
That's like video game stuff. But you could say you do well to find somebody who could argue that they've not deserved to win all 16. And we're in a totally new world here, seeing this, a team that essentially, you know, it does have stars, but not necessarily the huge stars as we used to see in times gone by. But now what we have is a team where everybody does their job to the highest of standards. And as a consequence, at the minute, they look unbeatable.
When you're out on the pitch and you're playing, blimey, you see it from a yard or 2 away when people do breathtaking things. You just mentioned about it looking like a video game. That's the point I was making, really, you know, that when you watch it on TV, it does feel like a video game. And this football is so perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's certain things which I wouldn't necessarily want to bore people with from a tactical standpoint, but it's very, very interesting because I think to myself, how would some of my previous teams try and play against it? And to be honest, you don't know, because teams have tried to press them and struggled. Teams have tried to drop off and they struggled. There's just something about the way they control the ball. They control, you know, basically most of the game, but then they have people who can just inject that speed that you speak of. And all of a sudden they take it to a whole new gear and you're on the back foot again. And it's clever. I think everything that they're doing is so thought out, but as you can see, the whole team's bought into it. So whoever's on the field, they know what their job is and they're very comfortable doing it. It's not a case of, to get slightly technical, say if you're playing in one of the front 3 and you've not touched the ball for 5 minutes, time's gone by, someone would just go and try and seek the ball to get a touch. But instead, they know that their role is to stay out wide and to stop the right back from, say, coming forward, or stop the left back from coming forward. So they're doing a job for other people, and it's a selfless thing. And, you know, some people in the past would get frustrated. The fact is, when the game's all said and done, you've probably scored a goal and the team's probably won 3 or 4-0. So, you know, it's a joy to watch a different brand of football be played by players who are of the highest standard, who represent the team that you support.
Because you've used the word team there a few times, and never before have I seen such a team that is all about the individual. Sorry, not about the individual, and it's all about the team. When I watch the performances, I don't think to myself, that person's had a special game and carried City through it, or that one's not played so well, but they've covered for him. Every single member of the team, without exception, as they get the ball, I mean, I'm only a fan, right? But I think if I were them now, and I've got the overview, I've got the TV view and everything, I think what they need to do is do this and then pass it on to that one. And they do it. And every single time they make the right choice. And that is blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's special, and it seems really, really simple to just say people just make the right choice. But in the nature of a game, at times it's easy to just revert to a comfort zone and say, well, I don't want the ball now, or whatever. But everybody on that field wants the ball all the time, and they know the places to go to give themselves the opportunity to do so. So say when one of the centre-backs gets the ball, they'll look up and they've got 3 options. They'll move it to the next person. They'll look up and they've got 3 options. And it's not just because by chance people are standing there, it's by design. So the players really understand what Pep wants from them. And they're doing it 9, if not 10 times out of 10 during a game. And when you have that level of sort of consistency and confidence in knowing that you could basically play blindfolded, then you add in the talent level. And then before you know it, you find a team that's potentially going to go 10 points clear at the top of the league.
Well, let me ask you one more question before I bring the other two guys in, which is about defence, which is obviously your department. A lot of praise has been given to, obviously the two central defenders in terms of John Stones improving, Laporte when he comes in playing exceptionally, but particularly Ruben Diaz and the effect that he's had since he's come in. Cancelo showing his flexibility in both fullback positions. Zinchenko contributing what he's contributing at left back. So a lot of praise has gone to defenders. But the way I look at it, but I'm not a defender, and that's why I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. This isn't about the defenders per se, even though the defenders are playing well. This is about controlling the ball, controlling possession, and always making sure that the point when you do lose the possession, eventually it happens, that everybody's in the right place and gets what they're doing, so that the defenders are rarely actually put under pressure. Is exactly that fair, right, or am I giving unfair?
No, I think I agree with everything you said, and I'll add a bit extra to that. So Ruben Diaz has been playing exceptionally well. John Stones has been playing exceptionally well. But one thing which is a boring talking point is things that have done well are basic bits of defending, taking pride in stopping the ball going into your goal, trying to make tackles, trying to win your duels. But they're more comfortable in being able to do that because they know that there's somebody behind them to support them, which is through an understanding of knowing that the person you're next to is doing the right thing more often than not. And then as well, you talk about defending. A back four can be good, but it's useless unless you have the people in front of you working hard as well. And I think in the Spurs game, as from when I arrived at the stadium, I was thinking Spurs' big threat's going to be on the break. How is City going to deal with it? Son's a flying machine and so on and so forth. But then it seemed like most times whenever Spurs had the chance to turn in midfield and try and create something, 3-4 City players swarmed in on that player. And it meant that the pass that player would play off would either be something that's either negative or a poor quality pass. So they're able to stifle attacks in the right zone. And it's because like the defending is from 1 all the way through to the 11. It's not just 4 people defending, everybody defends. And that's ultimately, I think, why in this spell now, they've done so well, because it's great that you can score goals and so on. But when you come up against a team who are really hard to like score against and just keep the ball against, you're going in there and you're wondering like, what chance do you realistically have? If it's a City team where they might score 2 goals or whatever, but they'll gift you 2-3 chances and they'll give up trying to defend. You go into it with a sense of optimism. But one thing I saw is from the very first game that they won on this run to this moment right now, the desire to come back and defend as a collective is exactly where it was. And this is probably, from a human psychology standpoint, this moment right now would be the easiest point to say, yeah, well, I don't want to do it this time. Because they're already top of the league, they're achieving their goals, they've got a lead at the top, but the desire is still there, and the desire in this instance is even greater because it's the expectation and the standard. And I think when you have those type of standards all the way through the team, like you end up in a position whereby the team, as I say, is doing as well as they are now.